All right, welcome to the Life Mastery Podcast. I'm the host, Elvis Pasek, and this podcast is going to be all about how to optimize our lives mentally, physically, and spiritually. Now, I'm not a professional on any of these by any means. I am not a guru, I'm not a coach, I'm none of those things. I'm just a person who is on the path to becoming the best version of himself. And what I want to do with this podcast is kind of share my journey and showcase the things that I'm learning and hopefully be able to help you do the same thing. So I'm not saying all of the things I'm doing are right. I'm not saying that everybody should be doing the things I'm doing. All I'm doing is simply sharing my path and my journey on becoming the best version of myself. And I feel like I have a duty to kind of share my experience in hopes of helping other people along their path as well. So, who this podcast is for. This podcast is for anybody who is on the path of becoming the best version of themselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. So you could just be starting off or you could be well on your way. I have been on this path for about 8 years or so now, and I've learned a few things along the way, and I will be sharing a lot of those things on this podcast. Now, this is going to be geared mostly towards men, mostly towards the masculine side of the divine, but that doesn't mean that if you're a female that you're not going to get any benefit out of it. Just keep in mind that it is geared more towards the masculine essence versus the feminine essence. I have a strong stance on the spiritual aspect of life. So this podcast will cover a lot of the energetic side of life versus the physical reality that we get to see with our own eyes. So the people who may not like this podcast much at all are people who are easily offended, who do not appreciate the truth. People who want things sugar coated. That's not what I'm here to do. I am here to speak my truth without sugarcoating anything. This is my way of expressing myself without any filters or anything like that. So if you're somebody who gets easily offended, you probably won't like this very much. But even if you are somebody that gets offended, I urge you to stick around and try building a harder shell around your emotions and your feelings. It will help you a lot in your life. So with that out of the way, now you know whether you're going to benefit from this or not. Most of the things that we're going to be talking about here are things that are obviously centered around life mastery, mentally, physically, and spiritually. But more specifically, it's going to be about the daily habits that we need to ingrain in our lifestyle. So it's not, let me try this thing for a few weeks or a few months or a year, or whatever the case may be. It's about building a lifestyle around becoming the better version of yourself or the best version of yourself. So with that comes not just trying things out for a few weeks and getting discouraged. It has to do with you actually changing your entire life based on these principles, which are centered around becoming the best version of yourself. So I've had my fair share of childhood trauma and healings as I've progressed through my journey. And I strongly believe that everyone has a duty to become the best version of themselves. I believe that the world would be a completely better place if everybody was just working on themselves and focused on improving themselves and treating other people the way they want to be treated versus doing things to hurt other people. So just a few topics that will be discussed around here are going to be things such as discipline, how to remain disciplined in your life, continuous lifelong learning, maybe some NLP and stuff like that. We're going to be discussing a lot of law of attraction based teachings. It's going to revolve a lot around mindset and how to have the right mindset when it comes to chasing your dreams and becoming the best version of yourself. So we're going to be discussing a lot about reprogramming the subconscious, what it means to be masculine or feminine. It's going to involve a lot of the spiritual aspect of life. But again, it's mind, body, spirit. Yeah, so not much in this episode besides me just giving an intro on what you can expect out of this podcast. I will be posting weekly podcasts. So every week I will be uploading a brand new podcast and it will be tied to a very specific topic, which I will be discussing in depth. A lot of my stuff is rooted in ancient and modern healing techniques versus what the Western philosophies are about. So I'm not really interested too much into scientific research, which although it's a good added bonus, but I believe that there are a lot of things that the ancient civilizations have known throughout history, but science doesn't really have the proof to say, hey, they were right. That's where the energetic realm comes in, and I strongly believe that a lot of the ancient civilizations were tuned into the spiritual aspect of life, and thus they had a lot more knowledge and a lot more wisdom on these things that will help us become the best version of ourselves and become greater human beings. So that's pretty much it. If this is something that you strongly believe in as well, if this is something that aligns with your path, I would love to connect with you. Feel free to send me a message, leave a comment, whatever the case may be. Also, if there are specific topics that you'd like for me to discuss, feel free to message me or leave a comment and let me know what topics you would like to be discussed here. That's pretty much it. Don't forget to subscribe so you can get notifications on when new episodes come out. I'll see you on the next one.